Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. LCK Summer 2019. It could be the last game of the night as the Afreeca Freecs made pretty short work of Jin Air Greenwings. Jin Air were winning until they lost.
Yes, I mean, that's usually one of those comments that draws people's ire, but I thought Jin Air were pretty clean the early game without being able to grow meaningful leads and going even as Jace, going even as Olaf. Need to be even and then more. You need to be ripping the objectives away from the enemy, and sadly, the Glad plane wasn't spotted there. So, means that game number 2 is going to have to be the fight back, as this particular fan with his gnarling expression wants
the
to
angry Jin Air. Yep, the difference of power.
Well, the difference of power was felt in game number 1, but sadly, perhaps not how Jin Air would have wanted it to manifest. So, how about easy to execute teamfight comps that can generally lane pretty well? You know who can do that that's going to be available?
Oh, who's that?
Neeko would be up there. We had Ucal win the MVP in game number 1 from some good play on the Neeko. And I'm all about Jin Air Greenwings picking up the Neeko.
Well, they're not going to be picking up the Karthus. That's what Afreeca are going to ban away. The Lux also going to hit the bench. Of course, Talia is a ban against Ucal that a lot of teams have been throwing out these days. He's still incredible on that champion when he made his debut. We say it every time, but the Talia was certainly the champion that Ucal was known for out of solo queue. Yuumi going to be taken off the board here. The Afreeca Freecs respecting it, first picking it in game number 1 and second banning it in game number 2.
So what are we trying to get at first pick? I wonder for the side of Jin Air. The
Jace, maybe?
Very quick response Yuumi ban, suggesting Yuumi might have been jostled for and not taken. Yeah, it could potentially be something like that. It's always about the individual team. I'm sure we'll see another team first pick Aatrox before long, and that could definitely happen here. More of a Lindarang pick probably, though, as he's not in the roster for game number 2 either. The Karma open, but accounted for by the Afreeca Freecs, and I feel there's lots of different champions you can throw at the board here. You can consider a Nautilus, you can consider an Azir, you can consider a lot of different things, and Tahm Kench in the stead of Tahm Kench Sona is a possibility if they want it, but like we're seeing with the hovers, Jin Air considers a few different options, and they'll settle on the Aurelia.
Yep, going to be the tier list pick here as the Aurelia is picked up. We'll see whether Ucal's been practicing his Pantheon, because of course that was what Doinby decided to destroy the Aurelia with in Rift Rivals. That was a really exciting final. If you haven't seen it, certainly give it a watch, as the Afreeca Freecs are hovering a Tahm Kench of their own.
They're hovering an excitement factory.
Oh, yeah.
And the Thomas Kench, he's going to be locked in.
Not going to be replaced by Mikhail's Crucible this game.
No.
We've got the real Sir Thomas.
Oh, but we might see Jin Air with a Mikhail's versus the original Mikhail's.
Oh, my goodness. Champion Mikhail's versus Iden Mikhail's.
Hey, there is the early
okay.
Renekton. It's not quite first picked, but my guess is that Afreeca are saying we will follow the Aurelia wherever she dares go with the Renekton. But Papa did have a feeling about Jin Air today, and look, it's not a game victory, but the Neeko is definitely a champion they should be considering, and they'll lock it in.
Yep, Neeko going to be picked up here, and it's surprising that the Renekton priority was there as opposed to the Neeko priority, to be perfectly honest, as Grace hovering a power pick in the bottom lane. This will be all 3 of their lanes secured as far as the damage dealers are concerned, and they do lock away the Kalista. No
support yet, but outside chance, I guess, that Neeko could be flexed into the support role. I don't know if we've seen that at LCK level just yet, but it is played from time to time around the world.
Not likely to be with a Kalista, though, you'd expect. However,
but think of the pre-pop of the Pop Blossom into Fate's Call.
Hey, yeah, and then deny that stuff.
I think that you could probably, I don't know how long the minimum cast time is to get it in and out.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I don't know how the Yo-Yo Neeko situation would actually work out there, but
we do know about the Ezreal situation. A bit of safety taken by the Afreeca Freecs in the first round. Ezreal Kench, now if this is King's Own Dragon X, it's how much damage can the Ezreal put out with the safety of Tahm Kench, but with aiming and Senan on it, perhaps going to be an entirely more defensive proposition. Small thing we should mention is that Kiin has been on the receiving end of some top lane Kench already.
Hey, yeah.
This season.
That's true. Cuvée certainly taking it to the Afreeca Freecs with that particular pickup.
They won that one too. So
they did.
I don't think it was really about the Tahm Kench, but it happened.
It did. Folly Bear ban.
Huh.
Okay.
I guess no brawlers allowed for Jin Air Greenwings.
I know, they got something against, I don't know, 3 costs.
Why was Volley Bear banned?
I don't know.
I need to know.
took away their shapeshifter synergy, I guess, with the Elise. I'm confused. The Volibear ban is an odd one. Malrang, I mean, I guess he does do some weird stuff, but we're I guess switching to Assassins is aiming, is thinking about the Akali here for either Kiin or Ucal, depending on where that Renekton is going.
Maybe he was trying to ban Vladimir? I don't know why he banned Vladimir either, so I got nothing.
I'm not even sure where Volibear sits as far as the Korean alphabet is concerned.
We'll leave that one where it deserves to be. On the sidelines.
B sound for V.
Well, it's A for
I just don't know
Akali.
where it is.
A for Akali was locked in, and Malrang is going to be wanting a jungle pick pretty soon. Not the Xin Zhao that he usually falls back to, but the blind Skarner. Very intriguing. Is the jungle pick CC? And you know what's interesting? If you take the disguising of the Nico for a Skarner, you might even provoke some flashes away.
That is true.
Possibility in some specific points, as Kellin's going to go towards his Thresh, and Callista Thresh, that is a duo of repute.
Exactly. We'll see whether the defensiveness of the Tahm Kench Ezreal is actually going to be able to stand up against this one. But once again, Jin Air, a lot of aggression as far as the bottom lane is concerned, but I like their scaling options elsewhere on this composition. The Skarner will be able to control that mid game with the Impale available quite nicely. And then Jin Air will have those follow-up options as Dread is going to head towards that very popular Sylas jungle here on 9-13.
And the reason that people were enjoying the Sylas jungle on this new patch is the fact that you can trail a farming jungler and then steal away the ultimate and do pretty much the same thing. So if you can farm next to a Skarner and then you have your own Impale, that's a pretty nice thing for Dread.
And having Impale and a gap closer is a really scary thing.
Oh, I mean, there's multiple champions where Sylas, who gets to go ability power, gets to do the thing the enemy is about better than he does it. He's a way better Malphite than Malphite is when it comes to engaging. I like his Azir options as well because he has the stun compared to just the gap close for the Azir. But Sylas jungle in a matchup like this is exactly why it became a meta pick at Rift Rivals, and it seems like Dread agrees.
There's almost all of the ultimates here are worth using. Vanguard's Edge, pretty huge into the backline. Pop Blossom needs no introduction. Even the box would do a hell of a lot of damage, boosted by all that AP. This is a pretty dream hijack game, and if level 16 is achieved by the jungle Sylas, it will be on a very low cooldown, and a few of those could go off in a team fight if we get to a late game. So, scary stuff, but this is the Jin Air composition, and I think it feels a lot more well-rounded than their first one did, and also has options as the game moves on.
And as I've talked about, easier to execute. You know what this comp does. Yes, it can play 3 lanes, but 4-1 maximum around the Aurelia, and then grouping for objectives is what you want to see. On the side of the Afreeca Freecs, now they actually have a license to play side lanes on this one. Ezreal Kench in the mid lane, Renekton and Akali can either start or evolve to be lane bullies. A lot of options for Afreeca, and if they get started, you have to feel like this could be an early night.
Yeah, we'll see whether the Afreeca Freecs can teach Jin Air how to play an early game with aggression and then finish it off with a victory, or whether Jin Air can weather the storm as well and bring us to Game 3. Jin Air fans still with a lot of desperation as the night sky looks beautiful. And it might just be the last one that Jin Air see for tonight. First round robin will be over for both of these teams. After this game, Afreeca Freecs trying to get to a positive record is currently sitting on 4-4. And Jin Air just want to find themselves a win to put in that first column.
Any win will do. Match victories we're talking about. 2 game wins so far in LCK Summer 2019. For the Afreeca Freecs, it should be mentioned that it was a spring to forget, that's for sure. So 5-4 would be a big improvement for them. They were right down there with the other world squads in the doldrums. In the start of spring season, then got more victories in the second round robin. So opening with 5 would do actually a long way towards, I believe, their entire match score. I'll be able to bring that up as we speak, but they didn't get many more than 5 match wins in all of spring. I want to say they hit 6 or 7.
Yeah, it wasn't a heck of a lot. You're exactly right. Certainly sitting towards the bottom in spring. Tana's in the mid lane, guys, just to point out. Grace is going to be piloting this Aurelia top side of the map.
He's going to choose to go into the Renekton lane. Well, we had Klepto Camille beat a Renekton. What do we not know about this matchup, Atlas?
Well, Kiin pressed W in in level 1, and then Grace lost that trade.
Well, we knew that. I'm more talking about the positive points for Aurelia, because this is
right.
a real counter matchup for Aurelia.
Are there positive points for Aurelia?
I didn't think there was positive points for the Camille with Klepto, but we were proven wrong in the first series.
Is that a nameplates issue, though, Papa? As Grace gets tagged with another
Hey,
hit of that
if my teammate
press
said,
attack.
hey, could you please lane swap with me and go Aurelia top into Kiin, you know what I would say? I'd say no.
Yeah. That'd be a big no.
I'd be very clear about it. I wouldn't say any other rude things, but I'd say no.
Yeah, you'd let them know your opinion, and you'd hope that they'd understand it. Senan, he doesn't understand. The Rend didn't actually come out there, as you saw. And all of those sticks in the back of this Tahm Kench, and he had to flash super early in this game.
And Senan's 4th game on Tahm. You got to be better at level 1 than that. That's really the skill cap for Tahm, is don't screw up the level 1.
Oh, this
Bit of a
is
mistake here, but this
cute.
is very cute. Like you mentioned, we're actually going to lane swap again, this time with a little bit of creativity. But the creativity ended very fast.
Okay.
You can just choose the best auto attack.
I guess so.
Remember, Renekton's not going to be hitting a ranged opponent very much, so you can actually stick around with a Kai'Sa auto attack if you want. Sorry, a Kalista auto attack in this case.
It would have looked really strange watching the potential like martial pose, but without actually having the martial pose.
So I need to ask you a question.
Ask me a question.
So we had a Volibear ban. That was very
That was weird.
weird. Non-standard.
Yeah.
Why did Grace go top lane? What was he hoping to find? Like, what was the call? Like, why did that happen?
I don't know. Well, there's a hook here. There's a Devour, though, and Senan is going to anti-fun the heck out of this matchup. Misses the Tongue Lash, though, and that means that Root is not going to be punished for just playing into a Devour.
I guess it could have been trying to next level or next, so I didn't see the level 1 vision, so it just seemed very peculiar.
I mean, it felt to me like they were going for the fancy swap, and then we're going to
predicting
like,
the swap?
Yeah, we're going to see who's who and blah, blah, blah. Like,
but you put down deep vision to predict swaps. You know, we all remember the lane swap days of many years ago where you'd go all the way down to get the deepest vision possible to spot a swap, I should say.
The other way that you can make that work, right, is that if Malrang was in the area, and then you can set up for him to land his E.
Or you go for vertical jungling, so that you can kind of guarantee a strong side of the map. I don't know. I guess it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, apart from Grace being, I would assume, kind of half a minion wave and behind in CS.
He's behind by a lot there in the mid lane. Ucal has been farming up very, very nicely, as you can see.
As long as he had experience, it'd be fine, but I think it's about half a wave of experience and, of course, the obvious amount of gold. So that's going to hurt the Aurelia in the matchup, and Kali's actually a pretty good matchup into Aurelia. We saw it in the top lane just yesterday.
Yeah.
We talked about how it was always classically a counter pick, even in older versions of Akali versus Aurelia, but not a lot of people put a lot of time into Akali. So, pretty decent spot here for both solo laners. Afreeca have found a way to counterpick Aurelia in a couple of different ways.
I actually find it really interesting because both of these champions have been reworked, but even before both of their reworks, Aurelia versus Akali was a decent one for Aurelia.
Well, Kiin is holding the wave, as he loves to do, which causes people to overextend, and guess who's here?
Yep, Slice and Dice comes in, flash from Tana. They know exactly which one's the right one, but they're going to be able to get themselves a very easy flash. And Kiin's just building up that rage. Means that Cull the Meek, the Ruthless Predator, going to be scary. Wow!
Well, that was hard done by.
Yeah, that is a very... Okay, Kellin, he's going to flash, does land the hook. Senan uses the cleanse, but in comes Malrang. Looking for that E, doesn't get it, but they get a teleport out of Ucal. He just gone back to base. He's actually pretty comfortable. Teleporting right here, wanted to do it back to lane anyway. So Afreeca don't actually invest that much and stave off the game.
Gets a better back timing for Grace, but that's all they're going to get from what was a well-timed gank on the side of Jin Air Greenwings. Big investment to open it, but trade the flashes between the Thresh and the Ezreal and the bonus of Ucal's teleport.
Yep, Senan almost has his flash back up again, but I like that Jin Air went for a play before the Tahm Kench had that back avaugh.
Oh, so even more important, before level 6 on Skarner, before it's very obvious that he wants to visit the lanes. I think that was a cool gank timing from them, but doesn't pay off in the biggest possible way.
Aiming has salvaged this lane. It was Root with a lot of control earlier on. Aiming has actually had some pretty good performances on the Ezreal in recent times. In fact, in their last series against KT, his Ezreal was very notable. Out of the Afreeca Freecs, see whether this can be one of those games. At the moment, the laning phase can be rough, but of course, it is Thresh and Kalista Two pretty adept laners in the early game.
In summer, the kind of goal for aiming was to continue his development after really becoming a pretty big semi-regular without being an overwhelming regular. In 2018, didn't play at Rift Rivals after being the starter for a lot of summer, you'll remember, Atlas.
Yep.
Thing
It
for
was
him,
Kramer, yeah.
thing for him is critical mistakes. I feel like in big moments, he's made some game-losing mistakes for his team, kind of semi-regularly. I think of him kind of like Maha would also make those mistakes. I think generally he's a better laner than Maha, who's not currently in the LCK anymore, previous MVP 80 carry. But in spring season made those mistakes. They're trying to create a gank.
Yep, there's the flash forward. The Impale is down as Senan had the flashback available. He eats the gray health, and that timing would have been so damn close.
Yeah, finite window, but a conclusive one. Now Malrang's used everything for nothing. So close, but no cigar once again. Afreeca get to continue to lane, and Dread's actually here.
Yeah, Root. I don't know what the Fate's Call is going to do. He's not going to utilize that one as aiming. That's not a flash. That's an arcane shift. I almost got a little bit overexcited, but they are going to make their way out, and Afreeca Freecs are going to be able to shove this wave pretty relentlessly as they head forward.
So close, but again, nothing doing. I think Root actually dropped a couple of autos on minions there as well. I'm going to have to see the replay to fully understand it, but that's another so close moment for Jin Air. But this one's so much more costly because Malrang blew everything and they didn't get a kill.
And now there's an opportunity for Dread to try an Impale of his own if he ever finds Malrang hanging around in his jungle. Half the cooldown of that ultimate is now taken, so Malrang will be able to gank again relatively soon, but it's the flash that's the big problem.
Yeah, that's right. Recreating that sort of a scenario, no stacks of the... I guess he didn't end up using Predator, so at least the Predator's going to be available, but crisis averted on the side of Afreeca. Senan living a charmed life on the Tahm Kench. Gold lead actually for the Ezreal because of the Kleptomancy bot lane.
Yeah. And parity as far as the farm is concerned as well. I mean, we thought that that lane was going in favor of Root and Kellin, and it certainly was in the early game, but it feels like it's been pretty comfortably turned back around again, and the gigantic lead for Ucal is only going to extend, as I believe it's all just trying to deal with who has to go against Kiin.
Well, about dealing with Squishy Nico. Proxying the minion wave so far as Ucal.
Yeah, holds on to it.
He's not a Conqueror Akali, by the way. That's been the common one this week, is Electrocute Akali. This is all pretty straightforward.
I wonder what Afreeca want to do, guys.
That's
just the flash forward. Tunner is just dead. And Kiin just takes matters into his own hands, and it's all too easy. Turret plates now should be going down in favor of Kiin. He'll grab at least one of them and walk away with that one by himself. The Mountain Drake was taken, so Jin Air gets something in response. But I don't know whether it's enough after the Renekton starts to get going.
It can only be enough if they return and attack both solo laners flashing, and that is something Skirmishing can do. But on the bot side,
it's called flash from Root. They get the knock up here. It's a great playback. Pretty early as far as eating that gray health is concerned. It's most likely that he's going down, and he is. As Root jumps forward, that's just a free kill under the Tahm Kench.
Okay, so they do overall answer a kill, and now obvious spots for the next Skirmishing ultimate. So Jin Air, some reactive shot calling where, yes, you weren't able to make the inroad, yes, Tana went down, but there's actually trade-ups available for the side of Jin Air Greenwings for Malrang's next couple of games.
Yeah, it's really nicely done. More turret plates now available as well for Root and Kellin. Gonna be able to grab that. Afreeca on the other side of the map though. Shelly should be taken here, and a lot of turret plates on the menu for both of these. 4 on the top side, 5 in the mid lane, and they could even head bottom side as well if they want to put more money into aiming. And this is going to go down for free as the eye was poked, and Tana's not going to get here in time.
But you see what sucks or what frustrates for the side of Jin Air is if the previous play happened, Skirmishing wouldn't have been trying the repeat gank post 10 minutes when the Rift Herald's there to punish you. Speaking of punishment, really well executed because we've seen teams mess this up. We've seen Sejuani Renekton not actually open with a Renekton at Rift Rivals. At least Renekton haven't always got it correct. The bot lane play happens, and yes, this time they get it, but the timer actually was really important for this last replay. It's late enough that Rift Herald existed as a counter objective, and speaking of the Rift Herald, it's being utilized on the top side to hold Tana down once more.
Yep, and see whether they can keep Kiin relevant as well. I mean, I think that putting all of your investment into your Renekton, even if he's not necessarily snowballing out of control, is very important because he's going to struggle the most to stay relevant as this game goes on. So 1,000 gold, the lead here for the Afreeca Freecs, but a lot of it is now invested into Kiin and what he's been able to pick up as Grace. Trying to go toe-to-toe here with Ucal. He's actually feeling pretty comfortable right here as Dread. He's got an Impale. It's exactly what he wants. The Silas, just a bevy of good options here this game.
For now, we'll back away. Malrang, again, does have those solo laners accountable for about the better part of 2.5 minutes. You can see those cooldowns on the right of your screen. Catching a little stun in the mid lane, but probably just a bit of limit testing. Malrang on a ward. Hard to find much, but we're going to see 2v2.
Yeah, Dread's going to turn up. Malrang just biding his time. Impale is available eventually. Crystalline Exoskeleton goes down. Good avoidance there as both of them impale each other. Afreeca successfully get themselves out, but Kiin, he wants to go back forward. Pop Blossom onto 2 members. Ucal luckily is able to get out, but the play is god tier. The Silas is dead, but Kiin is not. The low health bars of Jin Air are so much, but it's not enough to lock down these kills as aiming, flashing to try and pick it up. Lands a Mystic Shot, not enough damage. True Shot Barrage. Tana moves out of the way the right direction. Turret plates are going down here as Root will make his way to the mid lane. It's not going to be quite enough though. Jin Air now down 1.5k gold, and despite it looking pretty good at the start, it wasn't good at the end.
Sadly, Kalista was the root of all evil on that one. Wasn't able to get to the mid lane and responded 10th out of all the 10 members on the Rift. Being spotted in a ward, it looked like maybe they could get a kill and get out, but all of Afreeca pack up, get to mid lane, don't even use Abyssal Voyage to do it, and the end result is a trade-up once again by Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, and it's even more money going over to Kiin as well because he was the beneficiary at the end of the day. The 1 kill did go over to aiming, but an assist now for the Crocodile. And the reason I'm on Croc Watch is because he's about to pick up a giant minion wave on the top side of the map as well, as we have a look at this replay once again.
Skarner comes in and he's a double.
Yeah!
Double impale.
And they both turn into Skarner when they're impaling, which I think is absolutely adorable.
Given how he has the issues with no one of his kind being around, it actually was a bit of a tender moment, right?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
They were
it's like
basically
a hug. It's his first hug over the LCK. How many double impales have we seen?
Two. We can do that.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, it feels good. Hugs.
There we go. Sometimes you gotta hug it out, and especially when it's Jin Air, they're gonna need all the hugs they can get. So now Malrang, huge smile on his face.
You guys should hug someone at home.
Exactly. If you have someone around to hug, doesn't matter who it is, just give him a hug.
And on a more serious note, there has been kind of some deaths and some other notable things that have happened around the world. So while we are not espousing anything in particular, never a bad time to hug a loved one. Speaking of hugging loved ones,
well, that's the hug that aiming did not want. As Kellin is going to go aggressive. The death sentence didn't work, and he's just going to fall. Ucal now in a great position as Root goes golden, but is the rest of Jin Air able to turn up? The answer's no. Ucal just throws a whole lot of blades at him. Tana now with the Pop Blossom lands it onto one. Ucal is going to go down. Dread very deep in the backline as Senan goes gold, aiming just not quite enough damage as Grace dancing around in the backline, and Malrang now, he's looking for Senan. We do have a lot of CC available here as triple kill for the damn Skarner, and Jin Air Greenwings find themselves back in the game.
They get a 3 for 2, but remember Kiin couldn't respond and was able to get a lot of free gold and priority in the top side. And that is something to remember. But on screen, there are more kills, and like you mentioned, a farmed and now fed Skarner. But Skarner is one of the hardest champions to get value out of gold on. This all started with what we mentioned, a bit of an aggressive hug coming out with the Fate's Call. This was because they had the guaranteed outnumber with the Nico running down. But to what end, we still have to evaluate.
Yeah, Dread didn't actually find the Vanguard's edge either, so that actually could have been a big thing, setting up a lot of ability to slow around the middle of this fight, because you saw the Vanguard's edge lands from Grace and actually helps Grace dance around this fight really nicely. Dread out of position, just overextending for a kill onto Tana was a real problem here for the Afreeca Freecs.
But sadly, this is again one of those moments where KS is kill steal and not kill secure, like it usually is at the highest level. An 800 gold lead for the Skarner jungle really doesn't provide the team very much, apart from definitely not dying on his way to ult someone.
What does provide an advantage is Ucal being over 1,000 gold ahead. And that can be a really big problem here as the Ocean Drake, not really the priority, but Afreeca wanting to start off this fight. That is a very aggressive play, but look at the huge Crocodile in the backline, now replaced by the Ninja. The smoke screen goes down, perfect execution. Is it that? The Shuriken backflip sure says so. Does he have the next execution? No, he doesn't. Kiin's going to dive forward. The flay's good from Kellin. It is going to be the Skarner falling, and that's a lot of damage now delivered to the Ezreal.
A lot of gold delivered too, with Skarner giving over the bounty.
I said damage, but that's what he was doing, not what he was getting.
And you know what? In this game, gold only gives you one thing. It's damage. So damage is going to be coming out from that. They roll through the mid lane. They're going to take down this turret. It looked good, and I'm sure from the Jin Air perspective, it felt good to open a fight, but we knew that Ucal was lying in wait. Jin Air and unfortunately struggling teams, they usually focus on what's in front of them. What's in front of them was the Tahm Kench. They even pull off a very nice move. Remember our favorite Griffin special, the Skarner ult into the Lantern play, but it doesn't actually bring them happy tidings. The happy tidings are brought to Afreeca by Ucal occupying the backline, and Malrang bought time. That's 600 gold down at the drain, and then 600 gold odd provided to the Ezreal.
And so now that kill steal comment that you made before even feels worse, right? Because all of that gold went on to aiming, and now he's the one with a big gold bounty. 4-0-0 for this guy's Ezreal.
I don't want Ezreal to farm it out to 400 CS, and then we'd have some beautiful stuff.
That's a lot of fours.
Oh, it's a four.
Oh no, now he needs to die 5 times. Whoops.
You know what? I believe in him.
Well, I mean, aiming has done it in the past. And as we can see, ask and you shall receive. Papa Smithy is the Callista's going to be able to lock down that kill. Dread now. It's his turn to die. The knock up, the CC train is going to be there. The Afreeca Freecs, I mean, answering us at that particular point in time was not exactly what we really wanted, despite the fact that we're making jokes about it.
And yet consistency is one of the few things the Afreeca Freecs can't deliver. They can deliver the high highs, the low lows that you're giggling about. Will very often happen. Ezreal went for a bit of an exploration. Wanted to see all of the map, wanted to write stories about it. He was probably halfway through a block.
Oh, now it's Kiin's turn as he's slicing and dicing. Grace, though, he's going down very, very low. Senan gets the Devour, and he throws the Crocodile once again back in there. Aiming is back now, though. So Jin Air do back away.
Tahm Kench in position, so kill pressure not quite there. Jin Air's getting some counter punches in. So we talked about how they were scaled alongside by Afreeca in kind of a little bit too pacifist way in game number 1. In game number 2, we're doing things, so we're happy to see that. 15 kills in 19 minutes, Jin Air record. Gonna watch the replay of how this all happened. Aiming walked up. He decided to arcane shift into no vision. That's terrible. Well, he died for it, as he deserves to.
Yep. And that laugh from Malrang was like, well, you suck, is basically what
literally
that one
the
was.
moment that we
that
said
was
anything about aiming, he hard into.
He did.
You know what? Maybe we were in his headset and he was like, yes, coach.
Yes, he's like, I am in there. Don't worry, Papa Smithy, I will make you proud. Did he make you proud, Papa?
He did what I asked.
All right, well, let's hope that he never does that again. If you're an Afreeca fan, or if you're just a fan of the LCK, because we just don't want our players making decisions like that. Afreeca still have pretty large gold lead, as Grace can take a 5-point strike, but otherwise it's going to be okay. That's a great flawless duet.
Akali shows her counter to Aurelia.
Yeah.
Waiting. Speaking of waiting.
Yeah, that's going to be the Impale. Oh god, okay. The Devour did eventually come in there, I think, as aiming does come out. Tana into the back line. Too many golden targets, but the Tahm Kench not going to be so lucky. Dread in trouble. Kiin now with so many sticks in him. He's definitely going down. Not going to be enough dominance to help him out there, and Kellin threads the needle. Ucal, you got 5 members that you can try and kill here. He gets 1 of them. Can he get 2? 5-point strike, not enough. And Grace completes the ace, and the Afreeca Freecs, I don't know what they're doing.
And you got to scream about aces when it's Jin Air Greenwings. They don't get many of those. That's a big moment here. Aiming once again walks too far and gets caught. And even Tahm Kench can't get him out. Watch the replay. Ucal can just drop aggro, it's all fine. But everyone just walks into Skarner Thresh. Afreeca Freecs, they're already thinking about dinner. Is it pork belly today? Is it bulgogi? Well, guess what, guys? You haven't won this match just yet. And Jin Air Greenwings are not rolling over in Summer 2019.
And Dread actually stole a Fate's Call. That's why it looked so weird. So aiming got Fate's Called and devoured at the same time, and no one had any idea where he was after that point. That's why it looked very, very strange, but worked out very well for the Afreeca Freecs. Sorry, for Jin Air Greenwings.
That's on this one.
이즈!
Always interesting here.
가자!
Yeah.
가자! 바로 가자, 바로 가자, 바로 가자!
Well, that was
they
kind
really
of
wanna
saying
go
a
to
lot of
Baron.
go. That was a lot of go.
There was a lot of Baron Gaja, which means
Yeah.
let's go to Baron, let's go to Baron. They didn't go to Baron, the narrator says.
I mean, they're a Baron now. I mean, just Grace and Malrang just checking out. See
Turbo
whether he's there.
Skarner is going to happen here. Predator and Righteous Glory. I'm down for a Righteous Skarner into a Righteous Jin Air forcing game number 3.
I'm down for an Afreeca Freecs, you know, if they're going to lose, do it without doing just weird stuff and then losing the game. Do it with like some good play and then losing the game.
But this is where if you're no Faye, and let's say Afreeca win, very possible, 2-0, could happen. And you see people smiling, you bring out the belt. Because you're like, all right,
damn right,
you scaled alongside. You didn't even like get to late game because of good play. You just scaled alongside Jin Air, and then you randomly decided to die multiple times to make game 2 interesting. So there's no like, we did it. There's just a kind of we got the points thing going on. As Malrang is very fast, and Tom Kench didn't give a mundo.
Well, I wasn't caught shopping that time, at least. I wonder if the teleport interaction would be really, really funny, where like you get back and you've impaled him already, but he gets snapped back from the fountain.
I just realized we have Akali,
Bissell
Skarner,
Voyage,
and Tom Kench in the game. That could be some interesting travel.
Oh yeah. Oh god. There's a lot of distance to be traveled in a very short time.
We're very excited about that.
Oh my god. And Dread can also take
I
Fate's
know,
call.
I know.
Oh god.
We could have some interactions here.
We could have definitely some interactions. And already, the Afreeca Freecs have certainly trialed some of these interactions.
Isn't it kind
Emphasis
of
on the
sad
end.
that Dread bound to aiming? To come back to the previous point.
Yeah. Well, isn't it kind of sad that he also went straight to this hook and impaled and dead? The pick potential of this composition is certainly big, but just didn't need to be there. You can see the Afreeca Freecs now looking to try and answer back, but there's not too many opportunities. Kiin with the Titanic Hydra completed, I believe, instead of the Spear of Sojin.
Afreeca have to explore with their face every bush.
Yeah.
Every bush. They don't even bring Tom Kench most of the time.
Do they actually have to?
Yes, apparently. They're compelled to.
Yeah.
It's happened so many times.
Well, now it's 4 versus 5, and they're starting up a dragon. They're making decisions, Papa Smithy. They are certainly making decisions. Whether they're good or not
They're
is...
keeping it interesting.
Oh, man, there are a lot of words starting with "int" that you're using right now that I approve of. Currently, 300 gold is the lead for the Afreeca Freecs, but let's just be candid and say they don't deserve it at this point.
Well, they might be gift wrapping at game number 3. Who knows? Anything can happen, clearly.
Yep.
Conventional logic went out many arcane shifts ago in this game.
Well, also Jin are really good at losing games, so let's not take that away from them, right? They can still potentially lose this one. Jin
You're
are
right.
basically, they're 100% match loss rate, okay?
It's true.
So they're real good at it. They've still got one in the bank, though, so they can win this game and still lose. Don't worry.
There are losses in their future, that's for sure.
We laugh to keep from crying. True Shot Barrage goes into the nether.
Ooh, someone else to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, aiming... Oh, look. Did you see the direction he just arcane shifted? He's learning. Amazing. Oh, God. Okay, well, he has 3 items. Aiming is still very, very strong. As Kiin, he's here. He's clearing out this minion wave. With aiming, he's decided that Spear of Sojin isn't a thing that he wants at all. Just wants to be doing as much AoE damage in the middle of this fight as possible.
I think it's fine. Playing side lanes is very risky when everyone else decides to face check every brush against a Skarner. So
Yeah?
this is the part where you say, well, I guess I'm a grouping Renekton then. And you just keep grouping. I completely understand it, Kiin. He's the leader of this team, the oldest player.
And he hasn't been arcane shifting into the enemy team, so that's certainly a good thing. Well, Jin Air now grouping themselves together. They do have these pick options, and you mentioned ease of execution.
And we know that Afreeca do not understand peekaboo. They can't see them now. They're going to walk in there.
It's like, oh, guys, the map is really dark. Oh, they must have gone home.
You learn object permanence as a baby.
Yeah.
Champion permanence also exists in League of Legends.
Yeah.
You can't see them, but they're probably still there.
Well, True Shot Barrage try and get aiming and assist here as Dread tries to get forward. Are we going to have another Skarner hug is the question. No, the Abscond is going to land. Yes, we are! They're going to hug each other in the middle as Dread is going to be the first one to go down. Good knock up onto Kiin, who dives into the backline. They're looking to try and get the damage done, but the slice and dice is used defensively, and the Afreeca Freecs are falling
Come on,
apart.
Jin Air, get in there!
Ucal can't do anything whatsoever. Flawless duet isn't exactly that. But 3 dead on the side of the Afreeca Freecs. This could be a Jin Air Baron.
Easy to execute teamfight comp, keeps winning teamfights, and now they're on to Baron. They've got the rend for this one. Afreeca Freecs can poke though. Ucal, no ultimate, but still going to be annoying.
Yeah, the smoke screen is going to make things really rough as Kellin, he's down very, very low. Tana with a shapeshifter. It is going to be the Thresh falling. Malrang very healthy, but they back off the Baron, and the 2 members of the Afreeca Freecs left standing were enough to deny this from Jin Air.
Ezreal, of course, so annoying around the Baron, and Ucal, like you mentioned, able to get some chips in. Seemed like it was well scouted. Jin Air actually had one person recalling the TP back in, but the kill comes in overall. Gonna watch the replay. Who's gonna catch who was the question here. Afreeca Freecs dives in. Let's watch the aggressive hug one more time.
That was cute. Aw, he missed his kind,
There's
and then
so
his
much
kind
love on the
was
rip
just there.
today.
It's beautiful. What a beautiful time to be alive.
Sadly, the love was quickly and swiftly followed by death for Afreeca Freecs. The crocodile went extinct, then the noble Tom Kench also.
Aw.
Many species.
He's one of the last dinosaurs.
It's true. Speaking of dinosaurs, the purple dinosaur was not able to be put down as the gunblade literally shot him in the face.
Yeah, actually shot him with his sword. That's pretty cool.
Do you think he has a license?
Well, we'll have to check his score.
We should.
4, 2, and 2. Nope.
Nope. No license.
License absolutely revoked or denied.
Call the police.
Yep, not a chance. So, I mean, he's pretty good at getting out of the way of the police as well. The Popo are chasing after him. Smoke screen goes down. He's like Batman or something.
It's true. He has a lot of
Yeah,
dashes.
it's like Commissioner. Goodbye. That's not a Batman voice. I don't know what that was.
I don't know what accent you were going
I'm
for.
sort of losing my
Where's
mind.
Christopher Walken at?
I don't know. Probably in America. I would assume.
I hope he's watching right now.
Me too. Me too. Hopefully he's a Jin Air fan, because Jin Air are looking like they're in prime position to win this game, despite not actually having a gold lead yet.
But you know who has a sick score?
Who does?
It's Grace. 3-0-11.
Damn
He's
right.
been everywhere. His root wants to die. Not
Yeah.
going to.
Okay, denied his own death.
That was some good aggression from aiming. Deft-esque in his
Well,
arcane shift.
there's a Fate's Call, and there is a Devour, as Aiming's able to play frontline, 1 versus 5.
You can't mess this one up, aiming. Go as far as you want.
Maybe that was why he was arcane shifting forward, because they had the Fate's Call, but they couldn't Fate's Call him while he was being suppressed.
Yeah, but they should know that interaction. You don't get partial credit for that one.
Okay, well, Aiming was into that. I was trying to be, like, the glass was trying to half fill itself. Aiming only, he just arcane shifts off cooldown, I guess. He's still stacking his Mirror
He
mana.
saw Deft
Try and
do
see
it.
what the third,
He saw Def do it at Rift Rivals.
True.
They won against the world champions with that playstyle.
They did. But that was death. True Shot Barrage comes in. Root's going to take a bit of damage there as Tana throws some ghosts towards the Afreeca Freecs. Going to find too much joy for it.
Flashes up. Skana ult is up. I'm actually not clear on if aiming has QSS. I'm going to assume no.
I'm going to assume no as well. That's not how he's been playing.
You can devour out of the suppression.
Yeah.
Malrang choosing his target. Very, very quick, as we know.
That's true. I mean, I don't actually know whether you can or can't Fate's Call out of it. But I don't even know whether Dread had actually taken it, to be honest. But I mean, that could have been why he was arcane shifting
Look,
forward so aggressively.
honestly, Atlas, we're all right speculating because, you know, this does feel like an X-Files episode where we're trying to get to the bottom of it.
David Duchovny, tell me how it's supposed to go.
I'm the skeptic.
Yeah, well, that's the hook landing onto Senan. A lot of grey health, though, and they have to get through it. Flashes over the Vanguard's edge. As the Lantern is going to be taken, and now it's the Afreeca Freecs' turn to start off this fight. Tana going down very low. The Impale is going to happen. It's onto Ucal. That's a lot of damage now missing. Fate's Call not going to get any knockups, as immediately the stopwatch is going to be used. Kiin still hasn't committed to anything just yet, but the Dominus has been popped, as that's not the real Tana. Kellin going down very low as Aiming is going to get devoured. He's going to be okay as finally Kiin dives into the backline, and this time he's going to find the kill, but eventually is going to go down as well. This is not a one fight for Afreeca just yet, but it looked better than the other ones.
I'm going to be the negative Nelly as we watch the True Shot Barrage go wide and ask what were we fighting for on that one. It ended up being very even. Dominus popped. The huge amount of damage comes out from the Renekton at the end, but Renekton's still grouping. That's still the world we live in. Root could have considered an aggressive flash, but knows that aiming summoners were up, and a lot of those on the side of the Afreeca Freecs. We back away, and Atlas, future fights will brew.
Well, just to answer your initial question, did aiming buy QSS? And the answer was yes.
Oh, that's good to know.
So that's cool.
I'm going to watch this replay. We were fighting over, I assume, honor at this point.
This is for my people.
Senan out of the fight early. Aiming falls desperately low towards the tail end of this, like the initial chunk, but Malrang, bless his heart, got a lot of gold on skirmishing, has played really good. So shut up, Papa.
Yeah.
Malrang showing that you can do some semi-carrying as skirmishing. Will it be enough to get over the line? Hard to say. We could have disengaged at any point here, but we decided we wanted to keep them fighting.
Aiming could have hit a lot more skill shots as well, as the last few of the end of that initial salvo of damage from the Afreeca Freecs was probably the difference between Kiin going forward and queuing to kill everyone. Let's do it again.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, oh, another Skarner hug. Dread has put it in the back pocket. Level 14 now for the Silas.
We've decided that side lanes don't exist anymore.
No, it's not about that.
The peace treaty has been called, it's been signed by both sides. We're playing one lane.
This is how ARAM used to work.
I know.
You had to ignore the chickens that were right there.
Yeah, but the game will be over. It's already been won by Afreeca. Why are we still playing?
Hey, that's true. The
They
turret
got the
is...
turret.
Okay. Well, no, we're playing to inhibit a turret.
That's not how it works.
I know. But when you're feeling really salty and they've taken your turret, you're like, oh no, but let's play the inner turret.
By ARAM rules, Afreeca are probably allowed to walk over here because the rules are out of the window. They already got the turret.
Oh no, you're talking 1v1 rules. This is ARAM, so you still have to kill the next. Balls turret comes in. Kellin is just by himself though. He gets Fate's called to come back. There was a lantern there, but everyone's like, nah, man, that's not the play I want to be making. And so now a few things on cooldown. Root as well is relatively low in health. And W not going to get any joy. Aiming instant QSS as that.
That's one. He's still got the Devour, and he still has a Fate's Call.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. No, but we want the hug. Dread, I think, has still got the hug, doesn't he?
No, he hugged, and there was Fate's Call out.
Ah, yes, that's true.
The hug is down, but the Fate's Call defensively is available.
What's Dread going to take next?
Hey, Ezreal, get back to mid lane. What are you doing?
Yeah, dude, you can't be taking the wolves or the blue buff. Oh my god.
We're not inviting aiming to the next day.
Absolutely not. He's not even invited to my TFT games. He's gonna cheat in that one.
Yeah, Dread's got
items.
The safety.
Yeah. do you like how he uses all of his abilities to dive forward to steal? It's like,
hey,
aiming.
have you watched this game? This is important.
Exactly. If you want to arcane shift like that, you best believe that I'm going to
Whoa,
be prioritizing
you definitely are not allowed to take Baron.
All right, True Shot Barrage is going to come forward. Ucal waiting in the wings. Grace now finds himself in there as aiming. Fate's calls there from Dread. Tana goes golden and isn't able to get the Pop Blossom off. It's a bit of a disaster here as Kiin very low, and Ucal Shuriken backflip away from Malrang is going to close the gap. The ultimate is going to come forward. Oh no, the Blast Cone condemns the Thresh, but the Fate's Call is going to keep him alive.
A lot just happened.
Yeah,
Trading places happened. The Akali thought she was going to get a double kill, got none, got out, flashed. The Baron, though, could die here. Malrang's still around. Let's look at the levels. Level 14 on both junglers. A TP comes in. Get those lungs ready, Atlas.
Yeah, notice the fact that Senan does have the smite. So double smite available for the Afreeca Freecs, not a true 50-50. Vanguard's Edge flies into nothingness. Kiin just trying to play clean up as aiming. A lot of damage now available to Baron. Secured by the Afreeca Freecs. It's a secondary smite that does it now as aiming's looking for Grace. Flash has to be used. Root dies as an afterthought as now the Abyssal Voyage comes in. The slice, the dice, the very dead Aurelia. And the Thresh is going to die as well. Afreeca Freecs, after straight up inting, are still going to win this game.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. They get the Baron, they get the kills, they get out. The ARAM can end. The ability to play multiple lanes is there now. Finally, they've done it. I don't know if rejoicing is perhaps the right way to go if you're an Afreeca fan. It was a tricky one. Aiming going very aggressively, knowing he has Fate's Call, so this part we can't be too upset about.
Popped the Impale as well with the Fate's Call. So.
Nicely done there on Aiming's side after some definitely deserved criticism earlier. The attempt from Ucal to open up is nice, but this is quite amusing in that we have first the fail into the Fate's Call and the trading places from the Akali. So a lot happens there. I actually like how Afreeca played the Baron buff because they showed enough aggro around it to zone Jin Air away, and then they could finish off the actual buff.
Yeah, and actually Kiin getting a whole lot of value out of his Titanic Hydra there as well as aiming. He was the one that was playing the full defense. The Renekton just got himself into that Baron pit. And as you saw, this was the Renekton. Actually, it's been teamfight Renekton this whole game. I know.
But then again, as Kiin is the oldest and most notable voice here, I also would have gone team fight Renekton in this game.
That's true, that's true. He's got a GA now. He's got a heck of a lot of damage. He's got a lot of survivability.
A lot of creeps too, as we've been A-ramming a lot, so understandably we will have some CS discrepancies in areas, and Tana went for those extra roams. They're looking to break the base. This will be the first base turret being broken at 37 minutes.
Yep, 3-1-1 is going to be the call here for the Afreeca Freecs as Jin Air, they're going to try and engage on the 3. Teleport is going to come forward. The Tahm Kench is going to be the option. The Fate's Call, the Devour, all of the different buttons pressed to get aiming to safety. As Tana once again goes for the flank and just gets decimated before anything can happen. And now the one-man wrecking crew, otherwise known as Kiin, he's going to join this fight, and now Ucal's able to team with him. Afreeca Freecs, they found their rhythm, and they're probably going to find a Game 2 victory.
Seems like the rumors of the Glad Plane were greatly exaggerated. Game number 2, game number 1, more competitive than you might have imagined, but Afreeca Freecs just about get over the line, but they made it damn hard for themselves.
Yep, they did. Afreeca Freecs, honestly, I mean, if Jin Air weren't going to win this game, I don't know which games they are going to win, because Afreeca Freecs threw it to them as many times as possible. They didn't even have the ball, and they were still making the motion of trying to throw that over to them. As the Nexus falls down, not a lot of Afreeca fans going to be very excited about this game, but game number 1 was rather clean. As the Afreeca Freecs, after a Rift Rivals, go 2-0.
No one smiling, though, on the side of Afreeca. They all look like they've been caught red-handed for something, and I think we have an inkling as to what that might be.
Yeah.
Picking an MVP for this one will be very interesting on the Afreeca side.
Stop saying words that start with "in."
What? It's an intelligent question to bring up.
Oh, I don't like these interactions.
And we have to make an intelligible choice on who the MVP is. I'm not actually sure where my vote will be
I kind of want to veto it as an option, but I guess I'll just put it here. I don't know. It's an intriguing choice, but the best one.
And it was kind of an intrepid choice by
the intrepid
to go
explorer
and try to initiate all the fights as team fight Renekton.
Yep. Well, no Faye. You can see he's got a slight smirk on his face at this point as aiming. He looks like a kid that's done something wrong, but he's got away with it.
It's a little bit hard to say because he's a very well-known introvert of a person. So it's hard to tell sometimes. The reading can be different. What are you laughing about?
That is... No. Well, it's... I gave my MVP to Kiin. It's an intriguing MVP choice, let's just say that. As the confirmation will be on your screen relatively soon, I'm not going to ruin the surprise for you guys. But
we're not going to be intolerant either on the broadcast here. We accept victories wherever they come from. No Faye. Asking questions of aiming, probably about arcane shifts.
Yeah, I was about to use the word entranced, but that starts with an E, so that's that one's allowed.
You know, we're equal opportunists here on the broadcast. We would have taken it.
Oh, thanks, Papa. Well, I mean, I guess it got out there anyway. As the Afreeca Freecs, they are going to get themselves off the stage, and it was a win. It was a 2-0, but I think the KT rules apply here when it comes to the Reddit thread. Just hop in there and say clean 2-0, nothing to see here. As it felt like exactly that sort of scenario where there's still so much to work on here for this Afreeca roster.
Saying that you're better than Jin Air Greenwings is never really kind of a word of confidence around the LCK in 2019. That's kind of the most Afreeca could say on this day, is that they got the points, they didn't drop a game, and all those things can be so important depending on if they're fighting for top 5, which they're still in the conversation, 5 and 4, or the bottom 2 as the season goes on. We're not to know. Kind of like Kingzone, a performance that the team doesn't really want to remember, but Afreeca Freecs, maybe they have to play themselves back into form, because not everyone can prep and be ready and get themselves up for another match. With young teams, it usually goes really good or really bad on that side. They're at least going to be warmed up for their next match out on the ring.
Yeah, of course, and this is going to be the end of the first round robin. There's still a whole lot more to play for as well. So 9 games are going to be happening here. As turn the lights on, guys. Turn the lights on. Are we? They've got lights, right? Didn't we see the lights last time? Oh, they didn't turn them on just yet. That's okay. Afreeca Freecs fans in the audience, though. And the ninjas cosplaying. Also fans of the Afreeca Freecs. Lots of them here today. A lot of Jin Air fans, though, and a lot of them are going to be going home once again with a heavy heart They'd be used to it now, though. Those hearts are well and truly galvanized at this stage.
And it really does feel like Jin Air have 9 more chances to not be know, the statistic no one wants to be. The 0 and 18 team. The
I was
0 and
ready
11.
to give Kellin an MVP, by the way. I was ready.
The 0 and 11 for the LMS VCS was something no one cheered for. The same would be true if Jin Air Greenwings would be unable to win a match in an entire double round robin season. So far, 1 round robin in, 0 and 9. There was some good moments. I mean,
yeah,
these
this
fights,
is a Kellin highlight reel that we're watching right
now. Now, you could argue, why were the fights happening from the Afreeca side? But for the Jin Air side, that's not fair. They just took the fights they could take. And people love face checking, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the hooks are on point. Super Soaker's landing pretty well also, as, oh, we're gonna have a look at the hug. Watch for the hug, guys. This is the important thing. And hug! Perfect.
Love is in the air on the rift here.
I don't even know whether that was the right hug target, but I'm just so glad that he did it. Regardless of whether it was the right choice.
Of all the things this particular match, that one made the most sense.
Yeah. And that's sad. Aiming, of course, is able to get a lot of damage down in this game, but damage to our brains with a lot of his decision-making was also achieved from this guy.
Some of them were kind of difficult to fully understand in one-time speed because there were things like Fate's Call and also the Devour behind them. And I agree with you, some of them were desperately poor. So
yeah. But this was really cool.
Yes, but this was where they intelligently turned around. There was no disguise, but there was no real way to disguise yourself, Faker-esque on that particular play. Chasing on, getting the kills, closing out the 2-0. Afreeca Freecs, they win the game, and that's a lot of damage from your boy aiming.
That's what's going to happen when you're also damaging the brains of those watching. 51.1k damage. That is gigantic.
Yeah, 49% team's damage. I believe the entirety was 52 from the rest of the team.
Yeah, something like that.
Add all the enemy numbers together, they have about, what, 78,000 damage? So you're talking, 2/3 plus of the enemy's damage as well.
I think it's 52 and change.
A serious amount of damage. But the thing you don't want to see is that you had a meaningful lead over Jin Air, and then there's the little blip. You don't see that blip very often.
Yeah, there's a huge crater in where it should have been a linear graph heading towards a win, like it was in game number 1, to be perfectly honest. Well, I mean, Jin Air did have advantages, but it was very, very much just straight. And then Afreeca, they got online, they won the game. That's understandable. That's just standard League of Legends. This was just, I don't know. Afreeca Freecs did try to get a game out of it. In the mid-game, they gave Jin Air as many opportunities as they could, and then when Jin Air decided that they weren't going to take any of them, they decided to win the game.
Sorry about the rounding error there, 49.7% of team's damage for aiming. Had some nice moments, to be true. That's the thing, is this has kind of been aiming's whole career, right? A lot of pop-off games, but also definitely has been some question marks. Picks up the MVP. I wonder how he responds to questioning about this particular game. We're not going to be on duty there to be the law and perhaps smack him down to steal away some WWE names, but the victory is there, and all we can do is go off into the Night Atlas and do it all again tomorrow.
Exactly right. I will be back tomorrow, of course. Brendan and I traded days. Thanks so much to Brendan there, as I was requesting something else. But we are going to have the MVP interview. So let's go down and let's leave it to Ji-sun for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun with today's last interview translation, and we'll be joined by Ucal aiming from Afreeca. You guys are on the potential playoff rankings, so how was today's game? Watching Rift Rivals matches, and we were taking some rest, and we were preparing for the LCK games. And since it was the last game for the first round, it's really happy that we wrapped up the first round with a winning streak. And aiming, I like your new hair and new style. And today, you picked up MVP on your Ezreal, so how do you feel right now? Yeah, same, because it was the last game for the first round. I'm really happy. So I just want to keep this to roll on till the end of the summer split. Well, we saw No Fake giving you a lot of feedback after game number 2. What did he say? Well, I was
실수를 중간중간에
making
해가지고
some mistakes in the middle of games,
실수를 좀 안 하는
so
거 저에게
he taught me how to get rid of those
도움이
mistakes.
많이 됐나요?
Did it help you a lot?
제가 그 타이밍 때 급하게 해가지고
Yeah, I was
이제
rushing a little bit in that
천천히 여유를
timing,
가지고 해라.
so he told me to kind of chill and remain relaxed in the middle of the games.
너무 초접전이었다 보니까 이
Well,
세트의
game
경기
number
먼저
2 was really
해볼게요.
close. I want to talk about that
진에어가
first.
엄청난 공격을 했습니다.
Well,
에이밍
Jin Air's
선수
fight back was
말씀하신
really
대로
strong in game number 2, and as you said, there were some mistakes in games. So how did you cope with the situation?
세트 같은 경우 저희가 서로
For game number 2, we had lots of plans and thoughts in our minds, so that's why we were ended up having so many mistakes. So we just trying to end up in one conclusion, playing games and performances. And the Baron team fight was the point that you guys were able to gain that momentum. Well, you guys were not in a very safe situation, but you guys did go all in for that Baron. So what was going on over there?
좀 위험할 수 있는 상황이었죠.
It was a little bit of a risky decision, right? So what was going on?
제가
Whose
상대가
call was
오면은
that?
제가 이제 밀어낸다고
Well,
바론을 쳐라.
I told my
상대
teammates that I can
보고
push the opponents away, so just try the Baron.
네, 이제 드레드 선수가 공으로 살려주는 장면도
And
있었는데
Dread
오늘
also
이
saved
세트에서
you with
드레드
the
선수가
stolen
고생 많이 했잖아요.
ultimate, and Dread
게임하시면서
did
얘기
have
나누신 부분이
a little bit of
있었어요.
a hard time in game number 2, so what did he say?
칼리스타 공을 뺐을 테니까
Well, he told me he's gonna
밀어내라.
steal the Callista's ultimate, so he told me he's gonna save me with that. So I think that's how we got that maybe satisfying result.
자, 그리고 유칼 선수는 1세트에서 니코를
So
들고
Ucal,
나왔네요.
you played
네,
Nico
그리고
in
제
game
픽이라고
number 1,
봐도
which is a very
좋은
mainstream
픽인데
champion
선수에게는
currently.
첫 픽이에요.
But
어떻게
this
좀
was your
잘
first Nico
맞으시나요,
game, so
플레이가?
does it connect with
원래
you really well?
디콜 인식이 별로 좋지 않았는데
Well, I
이번
actually
트라이를
thought
했을 때
Nico was
페이커
not a
선수가
good
쓰는 거
champion,
보고
but after
감동 좀
seeing
많이
FLICKR
받아서
playing it, I
연습을
was
좀
so
많이
impressed,
해봤는데
so I
저랑 좀
practiced it a
찰떡같이
lot,
맞는 것 같아서
and it
오늘
connects
일등에서 뻔했던 것
me
같아요.
really, really well, so that's why I played it today.
사랑이 엄청난 만큼
I can see the
니코도
love of
오늘 잘 활용해
love to
주셨습니다.
FLICKR
자,
from
유칼
Ucal
선수가
again.
만들어낸 명장면이 있죠.
So we have this highlight.
세주안이 인척 때를 기다리고
You were
있던 유칼
pretending
선수의 활약.
that you
지금부터
were
만나보시죠.
Sejuani and you were landing 4-man stun with your
자, 이때
ultimate.
바로 교전을 참여하진 않으셨던
So you weren't really
네,
well
저기
joining the fight
제가
right
알기로는
after. You were
핑크가
actually
있었는데 와드 체크도
hiding
됐던
in the
상황이라서,
brush.
어차피 상대가
We
들어가는
well, I was
네,
hiding
제가
in that
중간적으로
brush.
이렇게
I knew that they didn't have any wards. I
네.
checked it already, so I knew that I will be able to kind of make a great
오늘
flank.
꼽고도 정말 엄청나다고 생각했을 것 같습니다. 자, 이렇게 아프리카 프릭스가
So
5위로
Afreeca
마무리를 하게 됐습니다.
ended
아무래도
up the
서버
first
초반에
round
엄청났던
in
기세가 있기 때문에
the 5th rank.
선수들의 입장에서는 아쉬운 점도
Well,
있을 것
however, you
같지만
guys
그래도 이제
seemed really
2라운드가
powerful in the beginning of the summer split. So 5th place is not that satisfying result, right? So any resolution for the second round?
복수는 해야 된다고 생각하고
I think we really need to
원래
make a
오픈카는
revenge.
말이 있기 때문에
And
저희가
people
그자리를 찾아가지
call us
2라운드 때는 꼭 잘해서
Afreeca as a fight Freeca, so I don't want that to happen again. So I just want to climb up higher in the second round.
2라운드 출사표 한번 던져주시죠.
Aiming any message regarding the second round?
처음 상대 그리핀을 만나는 것 같은데
We always face Griffin as our first opponent, and they are really a tough one.
남은
So
경기도 잘하지 않을까.
if we take them down, it will be a really great motivation for us to do well in the rest of the split. So I just want to do our best and pick up great results.
팬분들도 이 자리에 와주셔서 감사하고요. 오늘 승리 정말
So this will be the end of the interview with Ucal, aiming for Afreeca, and I'm gonna pass it back to our
아프리카
casters.
프릭스의
Thank
유칼
you.
선수
Thanks so much, Ji-sun,
함께했습니다.
once again for your interview translation. It was a very quick day today, Papa Smithy. 2-0 and then 2-0. Not necessarily the way we were expecting either way, because we were expecting a Jin Air win, and it just didn't.
Series number 1 also was very surprising with how dominant Dam1 Gaming were. And look at this ladder now. Dam1 Gaming second place, Griffin first place. Show this to someone in spring of 2018, which wasn't that long ago. And they'll hold up their hands and say, And what else could you really say about it? Dam1 Gaming and Griffin lead the charge. Griffin have a chance to go 8-1. They could be outright first if they can win their match tomorrow. They make their debut after Rift Rivals tomorrow. Jin Air, not quite a secret agent. 0-9, not particularly great. However, I would say better this round robin than really any of the others, and that includes the round robin where they won a match.
That's true. Gen G here as well. They're going to be playing their final match for the first round robin. That's going to be our first match tomorrow. And then we debut round robin number 2 With the Telecom War, KT versus SKT, it's not necessarily the matchup that it once was, but it could be strange, could be weird, could be wonderful. And SKT have played one game back since they were at Rift Rivals, and it was a pretty dominant one.
Conventional logic suggests SK Telecom in their most recent form will dominate KT, but it's 2019, conventional logic already a bit all over the place, and it's the one-off match that everyone, if you wear those colors of KT, can get excited about, that can actually prepare themselves for. Memes aside, it can just be a series that's much more of a war than maybe the rest of the season will show from KT, because KT aren't mathematically eliminated from playoffs, but it's seeming like a very, very far-off hope.
Yeah, it's a really rough one. And SKT, they've promised us, you heard it from FLICKR in interviews past, is they want to go on the streak. They want to find their way back up towards top form. And of course, they did it in spring. See whether they can do it in summer in the second round robin when it kicks off tomorrow. But for tonight, that's going to be it. Good night.
You take me higher when I feel low, make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, all with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning. With you I'm a savage. Make my sorrows chillin'. 'Cause with you I'm feeling alive. Like a feather, like the wind. I fly together to where we never been. You taught me loving without the pain. You're all I need. I'm feeling feather light. You're my desire, my cookie dough, my burning fire, my secret code. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true.
Have you ever wondered how it feels when everybody does what you say? Have you ever wondered what it's like to rule the world for a day? I'll fight until the end. This place won't grind me down.